In my past life, when the kidnapper's car hit my sister Lily, I pushed her out of the way and was taken instead. 15 years later, my biological parents found me, but I never felt any real connection to them. The adopted son who had taken my place in their lives often tried to get me in trouble. Lily would always walk around with him, holding his arm, and look at me with a cold, distant expression. She would say that Sam was her only brother, and wished that the adopted brother would kill me. Then, I woke up and was back in the past, on the day the kidnappers came. 6-year-old Lily looked scared and cried, "Brother, save me!" This time, I didn't rush in without thinking like I had before. I calmly told her, "Lily, I'll see you in 15 years. Hurry, grab that little boy. Don't let him get away." Urgent cries filled the air. I suddenly realized I was sitting in a small go-kart. 6-year-old Lily was running and crying. The scene felt so familiar. I realized I had traveled back to the day I was kidnapped. Soon, the mean old lady caught Lily and started walking towards a van across the street. "Brother, save me!" Lily was terrified. In my previous life, I saw the old lady taking my sister away and immediately drove the go-kart into her. The old lady fell, and Lily got free. I yelled, "Lily, get on!" Lily quickly jumped onto the go-kart, but I was thrown off while turning. The angry old lady got up and grabbed me. Lily, scared, didn't stop the go-kart and escaped without harm, while I was kidnapped, starting a terrible life. "Brother, save me!" Lily's cries continued. The old lady and the person with her had noticed me. There was no time to waste. I drove away, looking at the crying Lily from a distance. I calmly said, "I'll see you in 15 years, Lily." After Lily was kidnapped, my parents were devastated. They put up missing person posters everywhere, but it was no use. Thinking back to the family that bought me, they lived so far from town. I wondered how Lily would end up. Even though my parents were heartbroken now, I knew they would eventually forget, just like they had forgotten about me. Later, they adopted a son, showering him with love. Even after they found me, their real son, his place in the family stayed the same. Most unbelievably, when the adopted son needed a kidney transplant, they begged me, their own son, to donate mine. It showed me that nothing can truly be replaced, not even parents or children. Time passed quickly, and almost a year had gone by since Lily disappeared. I always told my parents how lonely I was and how much I missed my sister. It made my mom cry every time. One day she suggested to my dad, "Why don't we adopt a child?" I saw it coming, so when they told me their plan, I said, "Can we adopt a sister? I want a sister to look after me." My parents seemed a little unsure, but they didn't say no, since it was my wish. They took me to many orphanages. I wasn't happy with any of the girls I met. Then, we visited a remote, run-down orphanage. After not finding anyone suitable, we were about to leave when Chubby Tom suggested adopting a boy. He mentioned one who was polite, smart, and well-behaved. Tired from the search, Mom agreed to see him. When the boy came out, I was shocked. It was him, Sam, the boy my parents adored in my past life. He was surprised, too. His polite smile turned into a look of shock, and he blurted out, "What's going on?" We stared at each other. Mom asked Tom, "Is this the boy you mentioned?" Tom looked a bit embarrassed. Sam might just be excited to meet you." Sam quickly calmed himself down, becoming polite and careful. "Hello, sir, ma'am. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be rude." Mom nodded, curious, and asked him some questions. Sam answered them all politely. After talking, it was clear my mom liked him. My dad seemed pleased too, but I had the final say as Alex. "Alex, can we bring this boy home?" Mom asked gently. "No," I said firmly. Sam's face turned pale. He looked at me, shocked and worried, wanting to say something but holding back. Mom was surprised by my firmness. She tried to convince me that having a brother wasn't bad. You could build models and play games together. No, I said again. Seeing my determination, Mom gave in. Sorry, Tom. We can't adopt this boy. It's okay, Sarah, Tom nodded, understanding. Just then, Sam suddenly broke down and yelled out, Why is this happening? Mom, it's me, Sam. Dad, don't you recognize me? His parents were startled and confused, looking at the boy in front of them, not understanding what was going on. Sam rushed over and hugged his mom tightly, tears streaming down his face, as if afraid she might disappear in the next second. Mom, I've been waiting here for you and Dad for so long. Take me home. I don't want to stay here another day. Where's my sister? Why didn't she come? His mom was freaked out by his strange words and pushed him away. What is wrong with you? Are you not right in the head? Sam paused and wiped his tears, explaining. No, Mom, I'm perfectly clear-headed. Last life, you picked me up from here. Except for me, no one understood what he was talking about. His parents looked completely shocked. They probably didn't expect Tom to recommend someone mentally unstable. Tom looked embarrassed and uncomfortable, quickly calling someone to take Sam away. Sam panicked and lashed out, kicking and screaming hysterically. No, I won't go. I want to go home with Mom and Dad. Get away! Get away! I'm the rightful heir of a group. That guy's a fake. Mom, I'm your real son. The two attendants lifted Sam up and took him away like he was a small chick. Even after a long while, you could still hear his heartbreaking screams from the yard. My mom, still shaken, grabbed my hand and walked out quickly. Alex, let's go. We shouldn't stay here. This place is crazy. In my last life, I was the apple of my mom's eye. Now I'm just a lunatic in her eyes. I can't stand this complete change of attitude, let alone Sam. Words can really hurt. It took me 3 whole months, but I finally found Megan at a welfare home in a nearby city. When the director led me to her, she was in the middle of a fight with some little boys. Her face was scratched, one eye was bruised, and her arm was bleeding. Even though she was beaten up, her eyes were fierce and defiant, like a little she-wolf refusing to back down. My eyes instantly teared up. In my past life, whenever other kids bullied me in the orphanage, she always stood up for me, even if it meant 1 against 10, even if she got badly beaten, even if the director punished her by not letting her eat for 3 days. She always comforted me with a casual tone. Don't cry. I taught them a lesson for you, didn't I? But you got hurt so badly. Doesn't it hurt? This isn't a big deal. I'm a tough girl. Don't worry. I promise to protect you, and I will keep that promise. Her determined words still rang in my ears. Megan, it's my turn to protect you this time. When I told my parents I wanted to bring Megan home, they didn't understand. They likely heard about her behavior from other kids at the welfare home. But I didn't care and insisted on it. They had no choice and finally agreed. And that's how 8-year-old Megan came home with me. Looking at the fancy living room, the luxurious crystal chandelier, and the plush Persian carpet, she seemed a bit uneasy and instinctively hid her torn sleeves behind her back. Why did you guys adopt me? I led her to a room on the 2nd floor and opened the heavy curtains. The floor-to-ceiling window was wide and bright. Sunlight filtered through a ginkgo tree outside, casting dappled patterns on the floor. I turned to her with a warm smile. Because in this life, it's our turn to live well. She certainly didn't understand, and looked at me puzzled. Who's that? She asked, pointing at a photo on the bookshelf. It was a picture of Lily holding a doll on her 6th birthday last year. No one, I replied, picking up the frame and throwing it into the trash without hesitation. I remembered Lily once telling me coldly that she would only ever recognize Sam as her brother. Fine, in this life, I don't need her as a sister either. After a while, Megan looked up at me again. Her black and white eyes held a hint of uncertainty and stubbornness. How long do you plan to keep me? 3 months or 6? I knew Megan had been given up for adoption twice before. One couple only wanted to foster her as a publicity stunt to boost their factory's brand awareness. With the media's enthusiastic coverage, they adopted Megan, but then ignored her. She got beaten up by that couple's chubby son regularly, but to go to school and not be shamed as an orphan without parents, she endured it all at just 5 years old. Eventually, the beatings got worse, and the boy even pushed her down the stairs. When their factory went bankrupt, the couple decided to send Megan back to the orphanage. Before leaving, she couldn't take it anymore and got into a huge fight with the boy, leaving him crying. From then on, Megan knew that to avoid getting bullied, fists were the only answer. About 6 months later, Megan was adopted again by a middle-aged couple who couldn't have kids. This time, she was somewhat lucky. Though they weren't well off, they treated her okay, at least not hurting her physically, and life wasn't too harsh daily. But the calm days didn't last. The wife got pregnant, and without much thought, the couple sent Megan back to the orphanage. After that, her hope for adoption died. She no longer hoped to be adopted and became increasingly aggressive, fighting often and being a loner until she met me at the orphanage. 2 isolated kids gradually became friends. I thought about these memories and walked over to Megan. Not for 3 months, not for 6 months. You can stay in this home as long as you want, until you decide to leave, I told her sincerely. She kept looking at me, her dark, sparkling eyes like stars in the night sky. It felt like ages before she finally spoke. Even though my parents were against bringing Megan back at first, the truth hurts rule quickly played out. No one knows better than me how smart Megan is. After just 3 piano lessons, she could play a whole pop song from memory. After 2 months of Go lessons, even the teacher wasn't a match for her. When it came to schoolwork, by 3rd grade, she was already reading 5th grade math books. She never scored less than 100 in Chinese and English. Smiles started spreading on my parents' faces, especially when they would hear Megan's teachers praising her. They started putting as much effort into Megan's upbringing as they did mine, signing her up for classes she was interested in, taking her to meet important people, where she fit in perfectly with her wealthy young friends. Megan was stunningly beautiful and a star student. Her personality was a bit proud, but still she was amazing. Some important people even started thinking about having their sons marry into my family through her. Dad was happy, but politely declined, saying she was too young at the time. After that, my parents were even more serious about Megan's education. On top of that, they treated her just the same as their own son in daily life. Megan and I became as close as if we'd known each other forever. One day after school, a shadow suddenly darted onto the road, scaring the driver, Ben, into swerving hard. Megan, quick on her feet, leaped over to shield me. With a loud bang, the car crashed into a roadside flower bed. Megan checked me over in a panic. "Are you okay?" I let out a sigh of relief, shaking my head. "I'm fine." Luckily, the car only had a cracked front, and the 3 of us were okay. Ben, pale with fear, angrily got out of the car, only to find a young boy standing there. "Ben, the driver, it's me, Sam," the boy said, looking thrilled. "Hey, kid, do you know how dangerous that was? Where are your parents?" Ben asked sternly. Sam looked crushed, seeing Megan and me inside the car. He asked me, "Alex, how are you 2 together?" Megan turned her head curiously, asking me, "Who's that? Do you know him?" I shrugged it off. "No idea." Sam's face went pale as he shook his head frantically. "No way. How could this happen? Where's Lily? Where did Lily go?" Ben turned to me, too. "Young master, is this your friend?" "No idea who he is. Let's just go," I said quickly. With that, Ben got back in the car and started it up. Sam panicked, pounding on the car window. "Alex, you can't go. I need to see my mom with you. Stop, let me in." Feeling annoyed, I muttered, "What a crazy day. Ran into a lunatic." "Ben, tell the security not to let any crazies in when we get back." "Got it." The car sped away and Sam desperately chased after us, shouting from behind. When we got home, I told my mom about what happened earlier. Gosh, that was close. We nearly got into an accident. Mom, do you think that kid was really a lunatic? How did he even find our home? Mom must have been shaken too, angrily calling the director. The person on the other end was apologizing a lot, promising they would send someone to find Sam and take him away soon. With that, the matter was resolved. Soon after, there were some problems with our company's business in Europe. Dad planned to head there immediately. He hinted to Mom that it might be a long stay, maybe 2 or even 3 years, implying he wouldn't be coming back home anytime soon due to business. Thinking about that persistent Sam from before, I suggested without hesitation, "Mom, how about we move over with Dad?" Mom quickly agreed to the suggestion. Just 2 weeks later, our family flew to France together. Up in the sky, they quietly looked at the clouds below and waved goodbye. Bye-bye, Lily, Sam. If fate allows, see you in 14 years. In those long, hard times, hang in there. Don't go getting into trouble or doing anything drastic. Grit your teeth. Live like ants in poverty with no dignity, because you know, that's how I made it through last time around. Believe me, someday we'll meet again. Once out of the terminal, the first thing I noticed was Tom holding a sign with my name. After all these years, he hadn't changed a bit. I waved enthusiastically at him, but he didn't even look my way. I had to walk right up to him, grab the sign from him, and say with a smile, "Hey, what were you dreaming about? I've been calling you." "You're Alex?" He looked shocked. "How'd you grow so tall and handsome?" "I've always been handsome." Tom nodded excitedly. His eyes even looked a bit watery. Yes, of course you have." Then he looked behind me. "You came back alone? Where's the chairman, madam, and Megan?" "They'll be back in a couple of days, once Megan's last show is done. You know how my parents are. They'd never miss their baby girl's performance." Tom clearly agreed. "Yeah, every time the chairman calls, he can't stop talking about Megan. Always about how she performed in Vienna last month, or how she's heading to the White House next. Sometimes I try to ask about you, but there's no room in the conversation." "You think Megan was the biological child?" I shook my head, amused. "Tom, you probably want to ask about Henry." Embarrassed to interrupt Dad, Henry is Tom's son. 10 years ago, he went to study in France and lived with us since then. Ugh, as if I don't care about that rascal. Whenever he calls, it's just to ask for money, Tom grumbled. On the way back, I noticed the city's downtown area had huge posters of Megan everywhere. The genius pianist is returning to perform for the first time in 14 years. It's a pretty good publicity stunt. The old house we used to live in got sold a long time ago. 3 years ago, my dad bought a villa on a hill in the suburbs. The view is amazing, and it just finished getting renovated last year. This is my first time stepping into this house. The renovation looks great, almost like the dream house I've always wanted. It was totally worth it. Megan and I drew over 100 sketches before the renovation to design the most comfortable home for our parents when they came back. Tom started his usual rambling. "Alex, why do you guys like living up so high on a mountain? The view is nice, sure, but you young folks need to drive carefully. These mountain roads twist and turn, and there's a cliff below. Don't drive fast." "Got it." While soaking in the bath, I heard the phone ringing outside. I was so exhausted from the flight that I didn't want to move, but the person on the other end was persistent, ringing for almost 10 minutes. I had to get up and answer. "What are you doing?" A gentle and soothing voice spoke in my ear. I wrapped myself in a bathrobe and leaned lazily on the sofa. "Megan, I'm taking a bath. What's so urgent that you have to tell me now?" There was a brief silence. "I booked a flight for the day after tomorrow." Megan's voice sounded a bit tired, probably from all the practice recently. "All right, I'll make sure to welcome you home, Megan." A soft laugh came through the phone. "So, how was the performance?" Not bad. Congrats, congrats. Okay, it's 11:30. Go to bed. You shouldn't stay up late. A light sigh drifted over my ear. I know. Good night. Good night, love ya. There was a moment of silence before the other side continued. What did you just say, good night? The next part, love ya. Another moment of silence, like even breathing was paused. I chuckled. What? Can't I say it? I heard your fan saying it at the airport last time. 3 seconds later, the dial tone buzzed in the phone. 2 days later, Tom picked up my parents from the airport, but Megan was nowhere to be seen. I heard she was picked up by the event organizers and might return in the evening. Oh well, I had specially asked the housekeeper to make a seafood feast, but it looks like she'll miss out. Just as we were about to eat, Mark the butler rushed over to say someone outside was asking for us. For who? I asked casually. They said they're looking for the chairman and his wife. My parents exchanged puzzled glances. Looking for us? Who? Mark wore a conflicted expression, but finally spilled the beans. She says she's the chairman's daughter. After 16 years, I saw Lily again. Her clothes weren't great, but not too shabby either. At least they were clean. She was very dark and thin. Her rough skin and sallow complexion topped with simple hair, her hands covered in calluses, a bit like a lady cooking at a construction site. She trembled all over, her eyes fixed on my parents, lips quivering. Dad, Mom, is it really you? Sam came over, eyes red and looking excited. It can't be wrong. They're your real parents. My mom walked over in a daze, unblinking, and said slowly, Are you Lily? Lily's tears finally fell as she broke down crying. Mom, I'm Lily. I'm Lily. I kept reminding myself not to forget my real name so you'd recognize me in the future. Mom, I finally found you. My mom cried her heart out too, and even my usually strong dad couldn't hold back his tears. He stumbled toward Lily and held her face. You really are Lily, my daughter. Dad and daughter embraced and cried. The room echoed with mournful cries. I wondered if I should try to cry too and create a tearful sibling reunion, but try as I might, not a single tear came out. Instead, I felt a strange sense of satisfaction. I remembered the day I was brought back in my previous life. Lily wore a luxury Chanel dress with an arrogant look, just like those high society ladies on TV. She stood at the top of the stairs, looking down on me with a cold, distant expression that screamed, Stay away! Dad, Mom, is he really Alex? You must be mistaken. Even after my dad confirmed it, annoyance lingered in Lily's eyes. Sam, wearing a simple blue shirt and dark pants, walked over, displeased. Sis, is she really your brother? Looking at Sam's pouting face, Lily couldn't help but smile as she messed with his hair. Like a puppy. Silly, you'll always be my only brother. I clenched my hands, nervously watching the two of them joking around. Even though I was standing in the living room, I felt like I was sinking into the ground, thinking of the haughty and proud Lily from back then, and the plain-looking, sun-darkened lady in front of me now. She even looked 10 centimeters shorter than last time. I guess life's been hard without proper nutrition. Are you Alex? She finally noticed me after the cries ended. I smiled politely. I am? She walked over and studied me from head to toe, her gaze making me uncomfortable. Long time no see. Her tone was pretty cool. Yeah, it's been ages. It had been 16 years since we last parted. Fate sure has a mysterious way of working, only I did delay our reunion by a year since school was a priority. Long time no see, sis. Lily nodded, then seemed to remember something. Oh, by the way, Dad. Mom, let me introduce you to someone. This is my adopted brother, Sam. Wow, these two really have a special bond, the kind of sibling love. Of course, in their past life, they were the richest duo, but in this life, they've become the tough times siblings duo. Without the tailored suits, Sam has lost his dashing and imposing look from the past. Now he's just a lanky guy with greasy hair and dark circles under his eyes, looking pretty sleazy. Even though his clothes are new, they look pretty cheap, like under $100 for the whole outfit. Even the security guard at our front door looks more dignified than him. When I shifted my gaze to him, Sam's face showed genuine embarrassment and awkwardness. There was also a glimpse of deep bitterness and hostility. Clearly, he hates me intensely, and it's not hard to see why. I'm the reason his life turned out so miserable and poor. He almost got adopted by my parents, after all. But whatever, his hate doesn't come close to how much I hated Lily on the day she kidnapped me to the hospital to be his kidney donor. Those days lying on the hospital bed, I felt like my life was a living hell. I hated Lily, hated Sam, hated my mom and dad. I hated every single one of them. If I could have chosen, I would have wished us all to be wiped out together. But what good would that do? Absolutely none. After the surgery, my enemies recovered, and my family was all happy again. But I didn't heal well and got an infection, getting weaker and weaker. Eventually, my kidneys failed, and I was gone within a couple of years. My parents clearly haven't realized that Sam was almost adopted by them as a kid. They politely thanked him for helping them find their daughter. They thanked him for taking care of Lily over the years, even inviting him to stay. No effort comes without a reason. Sam going to all this trouble to find Lily was all for this moment, wasn't it? I bet he spent these years looking for Lily. After reuniting, we still have to follow procedures. Even though it's almost confirmed, Lily volunteered for a DNA test, just in case. My dad didn't object. That whole afternoon, my mom sat on the couch holding Lily, talking through tears. She asked about her life over the years, and reminisced about Lily's childhood, like there was no end to the conversation. I caught bits and pieces. Lily's adoptive father died when she was 11, and her adoptive mom raised her alone. Since they were poor, she only went to school until 7th grade, then went to work. She's collected trash, worked in factories, delivered packages, and cooked on construction sites. Quite a story. No idea how Sam found her. Hearing her daughter didn't finish middle school, Mom got teary-eyed. My dad just sat there silent. As everyone sat in silence, we heard a noise from outside, like a vehicle pulling in. Soon, footsteps echoed in the living room. A graceful girl pushing a simple suitcase walked in. "Hey, Dad, Mom. Why are you all sitting here?" Megan took off her beret, revealing her stunning face in the light, and curiously looked at us on the couch. The daughter is back." Mom suddenly stood up, seeming a bit flustered. Dad looked a little rattled, too. "Have you eaten? Are you hungry? Should we ask Mrs. Lee to make you a snack?" Mom unconsciously stepped away from Lily and headed towards Megan, naturally showing concern. "Mom, I already ate," Megan smiled at her. "Who are these two?" She was obviously asking about Lily and Sam. Mom looked nervous, unsure how to answer, and glanced at Dad. Dad hesitated, glanced at Lily, then at Sam. They're kids from a distant relative's family. Mom seemed relieved but guilty after hearing this, awkwardly adding, Yes, kids from distant relatives." I sat casually in the armchair, watching as Lily's already rough and yellowed face slowly turned pale. Megan nodded to the two on the couch as a greeting. Lily stayed expressionless, not responding. Sam stared at Megan for a while, lost in thought. "Mom, I'm gonna take a shower upstairs." Hearing this, Mom quickly responded, Okay, honey. I'll go run your bath. You must be exhausted these days." "There's no need. You and Dad should chat with the guests for a bit." Megan nonchalantly directed me. "Alex, grab my luggage later." "Why me?" She gave me a look I understood to mean, "You figure it out." "No reason." With Megan upstairs, the living room felt even quieter. Dad let out a long sigh and guiltily explained, "Sorry, Lily. Megan has a really important performance next week. I didn't want to upset her, so I had no choice. But once it's over, I promise I'll tell her the truth. Right, Lily? You won't be mad at us, will you?" Mom seemed to realize her earlier behavior was wrong and cautiously watched Lily. But even if it happened again, she'd probably do the same thing. Parents, after all, prefer children who make them proud, don't they? I've certainly learned that the hard way in my past life. Lily's clenched fists slowly relaxed. Looking at Mom, the deep darkness in her eyes cleared. "Of course not, Mom. I understand." Hearing this, Mom seemed relieved. That's good, that's good." I silently mocked her innocence. Being robbed of your parents' love for 16 whole years by a stranger isn't something you just get over. Just like me in my past life and Lily in this life. 30 years on the East Bank. 30 years on the West. My dear sister, have you finally felt the heart-wrenching, helpless feeling yet? Hating someone but trying your best to please them just to not disappoint your folks, even though they're your biological parents and siblings, you never quite feel like you're part of them. At the dining table, they're a family of 4, and you're just a random stranger. When guests at a party ask about you, your parents get all shifty and vague. Then there comes the handsome, adopted son, confidently stepping in to cover for them. "Oh, he's the son of our nanny, looking for work in the city." How funny is that? I'm the biological child, but I'm introduced as the nanny's kid looking for work. Yeah, right, and nobody steps in to explain this nonsense, not even my biological parents or sister. They all just go along with the lie. If it weren't for my childhood memories, I might actually believe I'm the nanny's kid. The next morning I walk downstairs and see Megan at the table with a glass of milk. "Morning, sis." She chokes a bit, with a hint of a blush on her face. "What did you just call me?" I can't help but chuckle. "Are you aging too fast, sis? Is your hearing going bad?" Megan looks me over, staying calm. "Who's the one always saying weird things?" I shrugged. "Is calling you sister that weird?" Just when Megan is about to reply, Lily and Sam come down the stairs. "Morning," he greets both politely. Lily nods, face cold and silent, but Sam gives Megan a friendly smile. "Morning." Megan, always perceptive, quickly notices the obvious hostility directed at her from the table. She feels a bit puzzled. I clear my throat and throw in a line of French. "Let me tell you something. Don't be too surprised." The 3 of them all turn to me. Lily and Sam don't know French. At least they didn't in the past life. Judging by their looks this time, they probably still don't. Then I said casually, "She's my long-lost sister, reunited with Mom and Dad yesterday afternoon." Megan looked surprised and instinctively replied in French, "Why didn't you tell me the truth last night?" "You have a performance coming up. They didn't want it to distract you from practicing," she muses. "That makes sense." "What are you two talking about?" Sam suddenly rudely cuts in. "We were talking about how great this bread tastes, so why can't you say that in Chinese? Did this guy forget last time when he and Lily took advantage of my poor English to mock my table manners? If I hadn't secretly recorded it on my phone and used a translation app, I probably would never know how much animosity this adopted son has towards me. Such a double standard. I can speak Chinese or French whenever I want. What's it got to do with you?" Sam's face turns from red to pale. He must be subconsciously slipping back into his original role from before, eating at the same table and behaving like this. "Don't you think it's rude?" Lily's expression is icy. Another case of double standards. What a joke. So having a grumpy face is polite, huh? "This is my house, and I can have any expression I want." Lily straightens up, her gaze sharp. Overnight, her attitude and presence have totally shifted from yesterday. Looks like we're going to have some sibling rivalry. Before, I was cautious, and never dared to go head-to-head with her until she dragged me to the hospital to forcibly remove my kidney for Sam. Then we broke all ties. But what did it matter? She didn't even blink when ordering the doctor to make the cut. Good. This time let's settle our scores. This is my house, too, and I can say whatever I want. Just too bad you can understand. If it wasn't for you ditching me and running off to save your own skin, would I have ended up here? Lily suddenly slaps the table, glaring at me fiercely. She finally says what's on her mind. You know how miserable I've been all these years? Where were you when the traffickers beat me half to death? Where were you when I fed pigs and chickens in the countryside? When I quit school at 12 to scavenge through trash in the streets? Where were you when I slept in a bridge hole? Where were you when a nail went through my foot at a construction site? Where were you? Lily ends up yelling her emotions all over the place, spitting as she shouts. Breakfast is officially over. Even the table itself is now unusable, covered in spit. I wiped the spit off my wrist with a napkin, unimpressed. Lily's further agitated by my gesture. She glares at me with bloodshot eyes. I just give a cold smile, like I'm the only one who's been beaten by traffickers, who hasn't fed pigs, hasn't scavenged through trash, or slept in a bridge hole. I was bounced around till I ended up in an orphanage, but my days there were even darker, beaten with whips by the staff. Did I ever complain? What's going on? What are you all arguing about? Father and Mother walk in from outside, puzzled glances aimed at us. Nothing. Megan reacts first. We're just chatting. Mother gives a nervous look to the other side. Lily, you didn't say anything you shouldn't have, right? In the heat of the moment, Lily looks tense. Mom, who exactly is your real daughter, huh? Can't I even speak the truth? Mother, lost for words, just stands there. After 3 seconds, she hurriedly explains to Megan, Megan, I'm sorry. I didn't intentionally keep things from you yesterday. Please don't be mad at Mom. In my heart, you'll always be the daughter I love the most. Even though I knew my mom always doted on Megan, hearing her say that right in front of her own daughter was surprisingly satisfying. Lily looked at her mom completely shocked, her expression slowly changing from disbelief to disappointment, then despair, and finally, utter silence. Meanwhile, Megan felt super awkward. Mom, I'm fine, she said. She didn't even know what else to say. Inside, she was probably thinking, go check on your real daughter. Megan quickly made an excuse to practice piano and left the scene in a hurry. After she left, Lily calmly spoke up. Mom, Dad, when are you planning to make her leave? Her mother was momentarily confused. Make who leave? I'm your real daughter. Now that I'm back, you should get rid of any unnecessary people, right? You mean make Megan leave our home? Exactly, Lily said plainly. Absolutely not, both parents said in unison. Her mom looked at Lily like she was talking nonsense. How has Megan ever wronged you to make you want her out on your second day back home? Lily sneered. Mom, I'm your birth daughter. I have suffered and been through hell all these years without any of your care and love. Now that I'm finally back, I still have to put up with this fake daughter? Have you thought about me? Her mother's eyebrows furrowed, and her face turned unhappy. We know you've had a tough time out there, and we'll make it up to you. But it's not Megan's fault. You can't blame her for it. Lily was speechless for a moment. It was clear she was really disappointed in her mom. Dad, do you think so too? Her dad looked at his real daughter, a hint of guilt in his eyes, but his tone was firm. Lily, your mom is right. You've been through a lot, and we do owe you. We hope to make it up to you, but Megan isn't to blame. We won't ask Megan to leave, and we hope you two can get along. Make it up to me? Lily let out a cold laugh, like she'd heard the biggest joke. How do you plan to make it up to me? With money? Don't forget that the money was always mine. The entire group is mine because I'm your real daughter. How many times do I have to say that? If you want to make it up to me, unless you can turn back time, go back 16 years, can you? Can you? Lily's hysterical screams echoed in the living room. In her fury, she flipped the dining table, sending cups and plates crashing to the floor. She did what I always wanted to do in my past life. She said what I wanted to. Yeah, parents always talk about making up for things. But can they really make up for lost time? It's the carefree childhood and precious youth that we missed out on. But in my past life, when my parents asked me to get along with Sam, Lily was right there making snide comments. "You'll never take Sam's place. He'll always be my only brother." If it weren't for our blood relationship, I'd have been kicked out long ago. In the end, she forced me to give Sam a kidney. I asked her why she'd do this to me. After all, I was his real younger brother. "Because you're just unlucky. You have no luck to live with us," she replied. "It's easy to talk big unless you're in someone else's shoes." "Lily, it's your own bad luck. You don't have the blessing to stay in this family." After that day, a clear rift grew between Lily and her parents. Both sides seemed to avoid each other, clearly not willing to compromise. One side insisted on kicking Megan out. The other side was absolutely against it. From my view, Lily was way too confident. So what if she's the real daughter? Megan brought endless glory to her parents, making them look like star parents, admired and respected by many. How could they give up on their well-nurtured, famous pianist foster daughter for a middle school dropout who collected garbage in the past? They're not stupid. 2 days later, Dad approached Lily in the living room, suggesting they hire some tutors to help her catch up before sending her to study abroad. Lily couldn't believe her ears. "You're trying to kick me out." "Of course not." Dad couldn't understand why she was twisting his words. "Lily, before you didn't have the chance to study. It's different now. You're young, and you should learn more. See more of the world to broaden your perspective." "Why should I change my perspective? I don't need to study abroad. In a couple of days I can start working at the company with you. You just need to teach me how to run and manage a group." Her father's silence showed he was shocked by her words. I kindly reminded her from the side. "Sis, Dad's health isn't great these past 2 years, so I'm mainly in charge of the group's decisions now." Lily's face instantly changed, and she shot up from her seat. "Why? Why? What? Alex, how much are you planning to take from me?" I couldn't help but chuckle. "When did a group become yours?" "I'm the eldest daughter, so it's originally mine," Lily argued loudly like a firecracker. "So what if you're the eldest? A group belongs to Dad, and it's not your turn yet to say it's yours." "I said it's mine, so it is. You guys owe it to me, you must compensate me," she snapped delusionally. Enough was enough, and Dad finally lost his temper. "How do you expect to manage the company? Are you daydreaming? If you want to join a group, at least graduate from Stanford Business School like your brother did. Do you have that capability? Middle school dropout? By the time you get into Stanford, that opportunity will be gone." When Mom and Sam heard the commotion, they rushed over. The living room fell silent. Lily stared at her father, her eyes filled with resentment and humiliation. She glared at him, almost bursting with fury. "I'm your real daughter. You lost me, and now you're rejecting me. So what if I'm just a cook? I'm your real daughter, and the one playing the piano is the one you adopted from the orphanage. Are you seriously losing it? Ignoring your biological daughter and kissing up to the piano player? Every day, I think you both have lost your minds." A loud slap landed on Lily's face. Her father trembled with anger. "Get out! Just get out!" It was a chaotic day. Lily, of course, didn't leave. She couldn't bring herself to. The father-daughter relationship hit rock bottom. Even her mother was colder towards Lily since she was also insulted. Plus, with Megan's first performance in the country coming up, she had less attention for her biological daughter. On Friday afternoon, her parents were dressed up early, ready to go to the concert hall. Megan had reserved front-row seats for us. She had invited Lily and Sam to the performance out of courtesy a couple of days ago, but till 4 p.m., Lily stayed locked in her room. Sam, however, dressed to the nines, followed us to the car. The performance was unsurprisingly a hit. It was a full house. After thunderous applause, we went backstage to see Megan, who was swarmed by reporters. Once they found out who we were, they started snapping pictures and bombarding us with questions. Luckily, my parents were pros at handling such situations, posing calmly for the cameras first. Sam was a bit awkward, but he quickly adapted. After all, in his past life as the heir to Group A, he was used to cameras. Most reporters knew my parents, some even knew me, but no one recognized Sam. Some were quick to guess his relationship with Megan, suddenly probing if he was her boyfriend. Sam just smiled and dodged the question skillfully. A well-known TV station wanted my parents for an interview show. They wanted to explore how a genius pianist is nurtured from the parents' perspective, so they weren't there at the moment. No one was to slap Sam. I just quietly watched him from the sidelines. The next day, Megan's relationship status buzzed on social media. Sam's not-so-striking face was on screen. Fans couldn't believe it, but couldn't explain why he was backstage with Megan's family. Megan's Facebook was flooded. "Woo-woo, does the goddess have bad taste? She should date me." I stayed up all night wondering where I went wrong. Sam became noticeably more attentive to Megan after that day. He joined her for breakfast every morning and quietly took milk from the nanny to her room at night. They discussed piano and violin together. In his past life, Sam played the violin. He wasn't exceptionally talented and didn't practice much, but he was good enough to impress. Megan had also played a bit as a kid, so Sam would often humbly ask for her guidance with the violin. While he remained unembarrassed, I felt second-hand embarrassment for him. That night, Sam came upstairs with milk. Without a word, I drank it all. His face was grim. "It wasn't for you." "I know. I did it to warn you. Don't waste your time. Megan's out of your league." He chuckled at my comment, direct and taunting. "And how do you know she's out of my league? She's just a woman." Where does he get this confidence from? Since he didn't believe it, we decided to test it out. While he watched, I knocked on Megan's door, leaving it ajar on purpose. She had just showered, wearing a robe, her damp curly hair dripping. She asked me what's up. I suddenly didn't know what to say, standing there dumbfounded for a moment. "Want me to dry your hair for you?" She gave me a weird look. "You came here just to dry my hair? Fine, forget it." I shrugged. "Wait," she stopped me, her eyes moving slightly. "The hairdryer is in the bathroom." "Bathroom, forget it. I'll dry it for you first. Sit down." I patted the sofa. Megan glanced at me oddly, a certain emotion on her face, but she sat obediently. To clear my mind, I randomly rubbed her head with the towel. "Alex, are you doing this on purpose?" Megan smacked my hands angrily. I grasped her soft wrist. Our eyes met. "How did I upset you?" Her hands caught in mine. Her eyes turned fierce like a little wolf, showing signs of getting annoyed. I hadn't seen this side of Megan for a while. In our past life, it was frequent. Remembering her fighting with those rowdy kids at the orphanage, or how passionate she looked while playing the piano. It was hard to believe they were the same person. "You didn't upset me, but I'm gonna upset you," I said, and immediately kissed her. Megan seemed taken aback, but after a brief pause, she responded. The two of us kissed passionately on the sofa. As we paused to catch our breaths, she looked at me seriously. "Are you sure you want to do this?" I seemed to be addicted to her lips, nodding quickly. "Yes, I'm sure." Megan chuckled lightly, playfully. "I was just gonna ask why your mouth tastes like milk." I heard footsteps outside the door, slowly fading away. After I made it clear to Sam that Megan was with me, he backed off a bit. I thought he had given up, but he was just waiting to play his trump card. Later that weekend, I had to fly to Germany for business. My parents were scheduled to tape a follow-up interview show on those days. At home, it was only Megan, Lily, and Sam. I took a 2 p.m. flight home, arriving at around 1 a.m. Walking past the 3rd floor, I noticed Megan's bedroom door was open. As soon as I stepped inside, someone flipped on the light. Sam was lying shirtless on the bed, giving me a mocking grin. Megan was quietly asleep next to him. "You're back. We've been waiting for you." Hearing him say, "we," I noticed Lily on the couch. Fury surged through my head, and I barely stopped myself from kicking Sam. "What did you do?" Lily looked at me nonchalantly and tossed an iPad onto the coffee table. I picked it up and opened the gallery. It was full of different photos of Sam and Megan on the bed, in the car, and in the bathroom. The angles were sneakily shot, making it look like Megan was either asleep or enjoying herself. I dropped the iPad and walked to the bed, softly calling Megan. No response. I couldn't believe Lily and Sam had stooped so low. "What do you want?" "Megan's career plus half of a group's rights. $2 billion doesn't seem like too much," Sam said casually. I turned to Lily. "Is it about money for you two?" She looked me in the eye. "What else?" "I can't decide on this without calling Dad first." I quickly explained the situation over the phone. My parents were staying at a 5-star hotel about 40 minutes away, near the TV station. They arrived quickly. Mom rushed to the bed to call Megan, who still didn't move. When Mom saw Sam in nothing but a bathrobe, she almost passed out from anger. Before anyone could react, she slapped Sam twice. "What did you do to Megan? How did you get these photos?" Sam looked at her in disbelief, stunned by what just happened. "Mom, did you hit me?" "You good-for-nothing! Who gave you the nerve to mess with my daughter?" Sam's face fell. "Did you just insult me?" "No manners. I did. You're not even worthy to lick my daughter's shoes." "Your daughter? Your daughter? She's not your daughter. Lily and I are your real kids, you fool," Sam shouted. "Are you nuts?" Mom shot back at him, exasperated. "Yeah, I've lost my mind. If you don't cough up $2 billion in 3 days, every video and photo will go public." Mom tried to slap Lily, but was pushed back. I walked over and stopped her. "Mom, Dad, you go. I'll deal with them." Dad gave me a long look, then dragged my furious mom out. I opened the iPad, scrolling through the photos calmly. "Not even $20, let alone $2 billion, I said. Sam sneered. "Alex, I want to see how far your stubbornness goes." "Sam, in our past life, you might have had a chance with Megan, but now, don't you have any self-awareness?" Sam's eyes widened, as if he'd seen a ghost staring at me. He stammered, "Alex, you were reborn too, right?" I smirked coolly, not responding. Lily looked between us, thinking she misheard. "No wonder you ended up with Megan back then." Sam glared, consumed with hate. "At the orphanage, you made sure Mom and Dad wouldn't adopt me, right?" I shook my head. "Not just that. I convinced Mom to move us to Germany, told Dad to sell the old house, and suggested he transfer Tom to a branch up north. I wanted to sever your ties to our family completely." "You bastard!" Sam snapped, throwing a punch, but I caught his wrist firmly. "Thanks for the compliment. I dealt with Lily. Why not you?" Lily seemed to realize something, her expression darkening. "Alex? What do you mean?" But Sam already knew. "It was you who set her up to be taken by traffickers." "Wrong," I said. "I just chose self-preservation, Alex." Lily's face twisted with rage. She lunged at me, hands around my neck, eyes flaming red. "I suspected it was you all along. You stood by and let it happen, and I've lived worse than a dog because of you." I pried her hands off and pushed her back. "You deserved it because you're a beast. I saved you once. And how did you repay me? You're heartless. Do you know how happy I am when I hear about your pathetic life? I want to throw a party. Lily, karma's hitting you now. You think I'm happy this life? You're so short you can't even stand taller than a pumpkin. Sam, you've been looking for her all these years, huh? And yet it was all for nothing. This lifetime's Lily isn't going anywhere anyway. She's better off cooking on a construction site. Sam gritted his teeth in frustration. So what? At least I won this last time. I won in the previous life. Yeah, you did, but that was in another lifetime. Right now, you're broke with nothing to your name. Hope you can afford a kidney transplant when your kidney disease comes back. Sam burst into a manic laugh. Why would I be broke? I'm about to get $2 billion, aren't I? You don't want to see Megan's career ruined, do you? Or do you want to watch a group go bankrupt? I didn't argue. Just pulled out the surveillance footage of Megan's room and the garage downstairs on my phone. In the footage, Sam and Lily were helping a barely conscious Megan into the car, snapping photos frantically. After a while, they carried her into the elevator, took her to a room on the 3rd floor, and repeated the setup. Coming back and seeing these two greedy and foolish individuals again, I remembered your request. $2 billion, right? Sorry, I don't have $2 billion, but I'll make sure the judge gives you 20 years instead. Though realistically not likely, you didn't kill anyone or burn anything. 3 to 5 years max, and you'll be out. But I'll make sure you two leave here like stray dogs, not a penny to your name. And I'll make sure you get a taste of jail food as well. Sam and Lily didn't see the tables turning so fast. Their faces were priceless, as if they were about to cry from their own stupidity. Why is this happening? Why? Sam looked up at me, eyes full of spite. You're pushing me, Alex. We can both die together. I can't live long without money anyway. He lunged at me, punching me in the face. I barely had time to react before he hit me again. Why? Why, Alex? It's all because of you I'm in this mess. Do you know how long I searched for Lily? 14 years, 14 whole years. I endured so much only to end up like this. Fine, I won't live anymore. Let's all just go down together. Alex, you're going down with me. Sam went mad, throwing punch after punch. Then he dragged me towards the balcony. Sam! Lily called out to him. Sam, crazed, pulled me towards the open balcony. The railing was low, barely waist-high. A moment's carelessness, and we'd both fall over. Sam was totally unhinged. I clung tightly to the railing, trying to keep my body steady. To avoid dying with him, I had to compromise. Sam, there's $5 million in my room. Take it and go, but promise me you'll never come back. The madness in his movement stopped abruptly. What did you say? If you promise never to return, I'll choose not to call the cops. The $5 million is yours. It'll cover future surgeries just fine. Lily heard it too. She seemed almost insulted by the offer. $5 million? Are you out of your mind? Greed knows no bounds. That's all the cash I have. Take it or leave it. It's up to you. Sam slowly calmed down. How do I know you'll keep your word? What if you call the cops the moment we leave? I can give you the money in front of my parents as long as you never return. I won't release the surveillance footage. As for calling the police, Lily is still my parents' child. They're disappointed in her, but wouldn't go that far. Perhaps seeing the logic, Sam released me. All right, as you say. Sam and Lily dragged 2 hefty bags of cash down to the parking garage. Like I said, my parents were too weary to say goodbye to her. Sam opted for his favorite car, a Lamborghini. These cars were ordered abroad by Megan and me, shipped back not long ago. After so many years, Sam was elated to sit in his favorite car again. Just as Lily was about to load the bags into the car, Sam changed his mind. Wait, let's take this Porsche instead. With a smug grin, he looked at me. I had to hand over a different set of keys. As the car roared to life, Sam smiled knowingly. Alex will take your $5 million, but who knows how long that will last, right? Fainting shock, I stared at him. A storm of frustration, anger, and regret welled up in my eyes, but all I could do was glare helplessly. With a triumphant grin, Sam sped away. I composed myself and took the elevator back to the 3rd floor. Overlooking the winding hillside road, Tom's words echoed in my ear. Funny, Master Alex. Why do you prefer living high up in the mountains? Yeah, the view's great, but you young folks ought to be careful driving. No joke here. The road's right next to a sheer cliff. Tom wasn't wrong. I don't like living high up here at all. Too many mosquitoes. Too humid. But above all, that winding road really is terrifying. The drop beside it even more so. I've often thought, what if the car suddenly lost control on that road? It would be curtains for sure. Yet, somehow, I was dead set on buying a house here, even snuck back to the country to do it. After all, I searched for a long time to find a place that fits my vision. Lily, Sam, I've put a lot of thought into finding this prime location for you. Lost in thought, under the heavy night sky, the car with its lights on started to swerve. I could almost hear a piercing scream cut through the night sky. In less than 2 seconds, there was a loud crash. The car broke through the guardrail and plunged straight down the cliff. Better sell the house next month. I don't want to stay there another day. By the time the police notified us to get to the hospital, Sam was already gone. Lily was in the ER. That was a bit of a shock to me. I didn't think her luck was that strong. We stayed at the hospital all day and night. I was worried since my parents are getting older and might not hold up, so I had the driver take them home to rest, then come back at night to relieve me. Turns out that was a smart decision. Not long after they left, the doctor told me Lily was awake, but the chances weren't great, and it was best to let my folks come and say goodbye. Are you kidding? No way. I walked into the ward. Lily was badly injured. I heard a tree branch went through the windshield and straight through her body in the passenger seat. What a resilient branch. I tried not to look below her neck. Didn't want to leave a mental scar on myself. Say what you want to. I'll pass it on to our parents, but it'd be best to avoid sensitive subjects, like you thinking I tampered with the car or whatever. I want to see Mom and Dad. Lily managed a few weak words. Tom drove them home. They won't be back for a while. A look of despair flitted across Lily's face. It was the kind of despair right before the end. Her face suddenly turned ashen. Slowly, she spoke again. Alex, this lifetime you must feel proud, right? What do you mean? I looked at her suspiciously. You remember things from your past life. Despite how weak Lily was, her eyes had that arrogance I was familiar with, that self-important vibe pushing people away. That was definitely the Lily from the past life. Last night's, was it you? Lily spoke as blood trickled from her mouth. Looks like she not only regained past memories, but also got a bit smarter this round. Good thing there weren't cameras in the room, so I might as well level with you. Yep, trading our lives. Megan's in mine from the last life for yours, and Sam's this life. Seems fair, right? I don't have many virtues, but holding grudges is one of them. Lily stared at me, her lips trembling. Hate me. Go ahead. My big grudge is finally avenged. I'm thrilled. When were you reborn? I swear I never spoke so seriously in this life. The day with the traffickers, remember? When that old lady nabbed you, I even waved bye-bye. I told you, see you in 15 years, but too far away you might not have heard. Lily coughed violently, blood spilling. I shook my head, continued my rant. And I even knew where you were sold as a kid. When you told them last time, I guessed it. Nancy, actually, all those years, I knew where you were. Just didn't want to bring you back, 'cause I told you 15 years. Couldn't advance it. Lily coughed harder. The blood just kept coming. Her trembling finger pointed at me, consciousness fading. You're ruthless. Am I? Of course. Can't get revenge any other way. Last life, when I found out you hit Megan, I vowed to become a demon to take your lives. Yours and Sam's. At Lily's burial, Mom sobbed uncontrollably. Dad seemed to age overnight. Who'd imagine a newly reunited daughter ending like this? This is all right. Grief's temporary. In time, when the sadness fades, they'll go back to peaceful lives. Last life, it was me. This life, It was Lily. Doesn't affect them much. Folks were fair, not playing favorites, though I hated them a bit. Life's just like that. At least this life, they got Megan. The one I love gets to grow up safe and sound, no turmoil like that last life, and became the brightest star around. For that, I'm willing to make peace. Megan spent a few days in the hospital thanks to hallucinogens and sedatives from Sam and Lily. Sunday, the driver brought her home. The house was quiet, 7 days since Lily passed. Parents went to the temple, scrolling my phone, thinking when to list the house this month or next. How are you doing? Megan came over, looking a bit worried. I nodded. She paused a moment later, hugged me gently with a soft tone. Cry if you need to. Really cry. No need to hold back. I put down my phone, feeling baffled. Why would I cry? Megan let go, gave me a curious glance. You sure you're okay? My relationship with Lily isn't as good as you might think. We haven't seen each other in years. We're like strangers now, especially considering what she and Sam did to you. Megan seemed to remember something. Those photos? No worries, I've already taken care of it. Just the thought of her and Sam lying in the same bed makes me want to kick Sam's gravestone. How could you be so caught off guard by others? Even at home you should be on alert. She was speechless. Do you hear what you're saying? Luckily nothing serious happened, or I'd be sick to my stomach. Auntie's off today, so no one's cooking at home. Let's go out and buy some groceries to cook ourselves. Now? Yeah, I'll call a ride online. She seemed puzzled. Why not drive out? I paused, my fingers on the screen for a moment. Don't use the car at home for a while. I'll have someone look at it in a few days. Why such a curious cat? I rubbed her forehead. No reason, just a secret.